Amanda Cross sat in front of her computer screen at the Mars research station. She had been working on alien language patterns for 3 years now. The red planet outside her window looked the same as always, but today felt different. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago, but she did not notice. Something strange was happening. The first message came at exactly 9:15 in the morning. Her computer made a sound she had never heard before. The screen filled with symbols that moved and changed like living things. Amanda's heart started beating faster. This was not like any alien signal they had received before. This was meant for her. She worked for 6 hours to decode the message. When she finally understood it, she almost fell off her chair. The message was from something called the Zephyrian Empire. They lived far away among the stars. They had somehow learned about her work with alien languages. They wanted to marry her. The message was very formal. It explained that the Zephyrians had watched humans for many years. They had decided that Amanda was special. Her brain could understand languages that most beings could not. They offered to make her immortal by joining her mind with their crystal technology. She would become their cultural bridge and help them understand other species. Amanda read the message 3 times. She could not believe it. How did aliens so far away know about her work? How did they even know her name? She was just a language researcher on Mars. She was not famous or important. Before she could think too much about it, her computer made another strange sound. A second message appeared. This one used different symbols, but Amanda could tell it was also about marriage. Her hands shook as she began to decode it. The second message came from the Corvan Republic. These aliens were warriors who lived by honor and strength. Their message was shorter and more direct. They had heard about Amanda's skills from traders who traveled between star systems. They believed she could help unite their people, who had been fighting each other for thousands of years. They offered to make her a commander of their battle fleets. Amanda stood up and walked around her small office. 2 alien marriage proposals in one day. This had to be some kind of joke. But the languages were too complex to be fake. The mathematical patterns were real. These messages had traveled across space to reach her. She sat back down and checked her equipment. Everything was working normally. She ran tests on the signals. They were coming from deep space, from different directions. These were real alien messages. A third sound came from her computer. Amanda's coffee cup slipped from her hand and broke on the floor. Another message was arriving. This one looked different from the first 2. The symbols seemed to float and glow on her screen. Third message took her 8 hours to decode. It came from beings called the Ethereal Collective. They were not physical like humans. They existed as pure energy in dimensions that humans could not see. Their message was the strangest of all. They believed that Amanda's mind was special, enough to help them become something greater than energy. They wanted to lift her consciousness beyond the physical world. Amanda felt dizzy. 3 marriage proposals from 3 different alien species, each one more impossible than the last. She needed fresh air, but there was no real air on Mars. She walked to the observation deck and looked out at the red landscape. Her computer chimed again. Amanda ran back to her office. A 4th message was coming through. She felt like she was dreaming. This could not be real. The 4th message came from the Nexari Trade Consortium. These aliens controlled trade between many worlds. Their message was the easiest to understand because it was full of numbers and trade agreements. They had heard about Amanda from their business contacts across the galaxy. They believed she could help them communicate with new species and open new markets. They offered her more wealth than existed on Earth. Amanda sat in her chair and stared at the 4 messages on her screen. 4 different alien civilizations wanted to marry her. They all knew about her work somehow. They all believed she was special. But she felt like the same person she had always been. She heard footsteps in the hallway. Jake Murphy walked past her office door. He was carrying his toolbox and wearing his old work clothes. His dungarees were stained with oil and dirt from fixing the station's machines. Jake worked every day to keep their small Mars outpost running. Without him, they would all be dead. Jake saw her through the open door and stopped. "Hey, Amanda, you look like you saw a ghost." Everything okay with your computer? He always asked about her work. He seemed genuinely interested, even though he did not understand most of it. It's working fine, Amanda said. She could not tell him about the messages. Who would believe her? Just some complicated signals from space. Jake smiled. Well, if anyone can figure out what aliens are trying to say, it's you. I better get back to work. The air recycler in Section C is making weird noises again. He walked away, whistling quietly. Amanda watched him go. Jake had been on Mars for 5 years. He came here after his wife died in a car accident on Earth. He needed a place where he could work with his hands and not think too much. The other researchers sometimes ignored Jake because he was not a scientist. But Amanda always liked talking to him. He was honest and kind. She looked back at her screen. 4 alien fleets were probably on their way to Earth right now. They would want an answer to their proposals. She would have to choose between immortality, command of armies, transcendence beyond the physical world, or unlimited wealth. Amanda saved all 4 messages and locked her computer. She needed time to think. She needed to understand why these aliens wanted her. Most of all, she needed to figure out what she really wanted from life. Outside her window, Mars looked cold and empty. But somewhere out there, 4 different civilizations were preparing to change her life forever. Amanda had no idea that the most important choice would not be between the 4 aliens who offered her everything, but about the human who offered her nothing except himself. 3 weeks later, the alien fleets arrived. Amanda watched from the observation deck as 4 massive ships appeared in the solar system. Each fleet was bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships moved into position around different planets like pieces on a chessboard. The first ship stayed near Jupiter. It looked like a giant crystal that caught sunlight and threw rainbows across space. This was the Zephyrian vessel. The second fleet took position near Saturn. Their ships were dark and angular, built for war. These belonged to the Corvan Republic. The third fleet appeared near Neptune. Their ships seemed to shimmer and fade, as if they were not completely real. The ethereal collective had arrived. The fourth fleet surrounded Mercury. Their ships were golden and covered with symbols of wealth and trade. The Nexari had come to court Amanda. Earth's governments panicked. Military leaders prepared for invasion. Scientists tried to understand the alien technology. But the aliens sent a simple message to all of Earth. We come in peace to court Amanda Cross. We will harm no one while we wait for her decision. The first alien representative arrived at the Mars station on Tuesday. Kristark Veltar of the Zephyrian Empire materialized in the main conference room. She looked almost human, but her skin was pale blue and her eyes sparkled like diamonds. When she spoke, her voice sounded like wind chimes. Amanda Cross, Veltar said. I have traveled across the galaxy to meet you. Your mind shines brighter than any star we have seen. Come with me to our ship. Let me show you wonders beyond imagination. Amanda followed Veltar to a small crystal ship that had landed outside the station. When they entered the Zephyrian vessel, Amanda gasped. The walls were made of living crystal that pulsed with soft light. Veltar showed her cities that existed inside crystal formations. Beings made of light moved through crystal streets. Everything was beautiful and perfect. With our technology, Veltar explained, you will live forever. Your consciousness will join with our crystals. You will help us understand every language in the universe. Together we will bring harmony to all thinking beings. Amanda was amazed by what she saw, but something felt wrong. The crystal cities were beautiful, but they were also empty of real emotion. Everything was too perfect, too controlled. The second representative arrived on Wednesday. War Captain Thexmore of the Corvan Republic came in a shuttle that looked like a weapon. He was 3 meters tall and covered in armor that seemed to be made from black metal. His voice was deep and strong. Amanda Cross, Thexmore said, you have the mind of a great general. Your language skills can unite our clans and end our wars. Come with me. See the power we offer. Thexmore took Amanda to his flagship. The Corvan ship was built for battle. Every surface was designed for war. He showed her battles on huge screens. Corvan warriors fought with honor and skill that humans could never match. Their weapons could destroy planets. Join us, Dexmore said, and command fleets that span the galaxy. Your wisdom will bring peace through strength. We will teach you to fight like a true warrior. Amanda was impressed by Corvan technology, but their obsession with war made her uncomfortable. They respected strength above all else, but they did not seem to understand gentleness or mercy. The third representative came on Thursday. Prime Consciousness. Zareth of the Ethereal Collective appeared as a being made of flowing energy. It had no solid form, just patterns of light that changed and moved. When it spoke, the words appeared directly in Amanda's mind. Amanda Cross, your consciousness resonates on frequencies we have never encountered in solid beings. Come with us beyond the limitations of flesh. See reality as it truly exists. Zareth showed Amanda visions that hurt her brain to understand. She saw dimensions beyond the three she knew. She saw energy patterns that connected all living things. She saw the universe as the ethereals saw it, as pure information and consciousness. Join with us, Zareth said, and leave behind the prison of physical existence. Your mind will expand beyond all limits. You will become something greater than human. The visions were incredible, but Amanda felt lost in them. The ethereal way of existence was too far from everything she understood about life and meaning. The fourth representative arrived on Friday. Trade Prince Zolvan of the Nexari Consortium looked the most human of all the aliens. He was tall and thin with golden skin and eyes like coins. He spoke perfect English and wore clothes that probably cost more than Amanda made in a year. Amanda Cross, Zolvan said with a smile. You have a gift that is worth more than all the gold in the galaxy. Come with me. Let me show you wealth, beyond measure. Zolvan took Amanda to his trade ship. Every surface was covered with treasures from 1,000 different worlds. He showed her economic projections that proved how her language skills could open new markets and create prosperity for billions of beings. Marry me, Zolvan said, and together we will end scarcity forever. Every human will live like a king. Poverty and want will become things of the past. The wealth was amazing, but Amanda felt like Zolvan saw her more as a business opportunity than as a person. Everything he showed her had a price tag. Throughout the week of alien visits, Jake continued his normal work. He fixed broken machines, cleaned air filters, and kept the station running. Sometimes Amanda would see him in the hallways between her meetings with alien representatives. He always smiled and asked how her day was going. On Friday night, after Zolvan had returned to his ship, the station lost power. Emergency lights came on, but most systems shut down. Amanda was in her office when everything went dark. She heard Jake's voice over the intercom. Don't worry, folks, just a problem with the main reactor. I'll have us back up in 20 minutes. 18 minutes later, the lights came back on. Jake's voice returned to the intercom. All fixed. Sorry for the trouble. Amanda found Jake in the reactor room putting away his tools. His dungarees were even dirtier than usual. He looked tired, but satisfied. How do you do it? Amanda asked. How do you always know how to fix everything? Jake shrugged. Most problems aren't as complicated as they seem. You just have to listen to what the machine is trying to tell you. Then you figure out what it needs. They talked for an hour about their fears and dreams. Jake told her about losing his wife and coming to Mars to start over. Amanda told him about feeling lost and confused by all the choices she had to make. For the first time all week, she felt like herself again. When Jake finally said goodnight, Amanda realized something important. The aliens offered her everything, but Jake was the only one who listened to her as a person. Amanda had been thinking about the alien proposals for 2 weeks. Each offer was incredible, but she could not decide. The 4 representatives had returned to their ships and were waiting for her answer. She could feel their impatience growing, stronger each day. On Monday morning, everything changed. Amanda woke up to alarms blaring throughout the Mars station. She ran to the command center where everyone was gathered around the communication screens. The news from Earth was terrible. Alien fleets had stopped waiting. They were testing humanity. Captain Rodriguez, the station commander, looked pale and worried. Amanda, you need to see this. All 4 alien fleets are attacking human colonies at the same time. But they're not trying to kill people. They're trying to prove something. The first screen showed the colony on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The Zephyrian fleet had surrounded the settlement. Crystal beams were shooting down from their ships, but instead of destroying buildings, they were changing them. Human structures were being converted into crystal formations. The colonists were not hurt, but they were being transformed too. Their skin was turning blue and crystalline. The Zephyrians are upgrading the humans, the reporter said. They claim, this is better than being human. The colonists cannot resist. They are becoming part of the crystal network. The second screen showed the mining colony on Titan. Corvan warships had landed there and challenged the human defense forces to battle. The human soldiers fought bravely, but their weapons could barely scratch Corvan armor. The aliens were winning, easily, but they were not killing the humans. Instead, they were proving how weak human military forces were. The Corvans say they are testing human warrior spirit, another reporter explained. They claim that only Amanda Cross can make humans worthy allies. Without her, humans will always be too weak to survive in the galaxy. The third screen showed the research station near Pluto. The ethereal collective had surrounded it with ships that flickered in and out of reality. Energy beams were pulling human consciousness away from their bodies. Scientists and workers were falling into deep comas. Their minds were being drawn into the ethereal dimension. The ethereals are demonstrating the limits of physical existence, a scientist explained over the radio. They are showing humans what it means to transcend the body, but the people cannot return to their bodies without help. The fourth screen showed the trade stations around Mercury. The Nexari had crashed. The galactic economic networks that Earth depended on, human trade routes were shut down, food shipments were stopped, medical supplies were blocked, Earth's economy was falling apart in hours. The Nexari have proven that human prosperity depends entirely on alien trade, an economist reported. Without their cooperation, human civilization will collapse within days. Amanda watched all 4 screens with growing horror. The aliens were not trying to destroy humanity. They were trying to force her to choose one of them by showing her what would happen if she did not. Each fleet was demonstrating that humans needed them to survive. Captain Rodriguez turned to Amanda. They're waiting for your decision. Each fleet has sent the same message. Choose one of them, and they will stop their demonstration. Refuse them all, and humanity will face all 4 problems at once. Amanda felt sick. She ran to her office and locked the door. This was not fair. The aliens were forcing her to choose, by threatening innocent people. She could save Europa by joining the Zephyrians, but then Titan, Pluto, and Mercury would still be in danger. No matter what she chose, people would suffer. She sat at her desk and put her head in her hands. 4 alien civilizations wanted her, and each one was more advanced than humanity could ever hope to be. How could she fight against such power? How could one human woman stand against 4 galactic empires? Someone knocked on her door. Amanda, it's Jake. Can I come in? She unlocked the door. Jake entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee in his toolbox. He set 1 cup on her desk and sat down across from her. His dungarees were clean for once, which meant he had been working on delicate electronic equipment. Rough day, Jake said simply. Aliens are destroying everything, Amanda said. They want me to choose one of them, but no matter what I pick, billions of people will suffer. I don't know what to do. Jake sipped his coffee and thought for a moment. You know, when I was married, my wife used to get upset when things broke around the house. She would call repair companies and spend a lot of money hiring experts, but most of the time the problem was simple. A loose connection here, a clogged filter there. The fancy experts would use complicated solutions when all you really needed was to understand how the system worked. What are you saying? Amanda asked. Well, Jake said, these aliens are all trying to fix humanity according to their own ideas. The crystal folks think we need to be more like them. The warrior folks think we need to be stronger. The energy folks think we need to leave our bodies behind. The trade folks think we need more money. But maybe the problem isn't that humans are broken. Maybe the problem is that they don't understand what humans actually need. Amanda looked at Jake with new respect. You think they're trying to solve the wrong problem. I think they're smart enough to travel across the galaxy, but not smart enough to ask humans what we actually want, Jake said. When something's broken, sometimes the solution isn't the fanciest tool in the box. Sometimes it's just knowing which wire connects to which. Amanda felt something click in her mind. Jake was right. The aliens were trying to fix humanity without understanding what made humans human in the first place. They saw human weaknesses but missed human strengths. Jake, you're brilliant, Amanda said. Jake laughed. I just fix broken things for a living. But if you want to beat these aliens at their own game, maybe you need to think like an engineer instead of like a linguist. Amanda stood up and paced around her office. An idea was forming in her mind. It was crazy and dangerous, but it might work. Instead of choosing one alien fleet, what if she challenged all four of them? What if she turned their test around and made them prove themselves to humanity instead? Jake, she said, how would you like to help me save the human race? Jake finished his coffee and picked up his toolbox. I thought you'd never ask. What do you need me to do? Amanda smiled for the first time in weeks. She had spent so much time thinking about alien languages and alien technology that she had forgotten the most important thing. She was human, and that meant something special. It was time to show 4 galactic civilizations what humans could really do when they worked together. The aliens thought they were testing humanity, but Amanda was about to turn the tables and test them instead. Amanda and Jake worked through the night preparing for the most important broadcast in human history. Jake helped her set up communication equipment that could reach all 4 alien fleets at the same time. His knowledge of the station's systems made it possible to boost their signal across the entire solar system. At exactly noon the next day, Amanda began her transmission. She spoke in 4 different alien languages, switching between them with perfect fluency. Her voice reached every ship in all 4 fleets simultaneously. Greetings to the Zephyrian Empire, the Corvan Republic, the Ethereal Collective, and the Nexari Trade Consortium. I am Amanda Cross, and I have a proposal for you. The alien fleets immediately stopped their attacks on human colonies. Every ship turned toward Mars to listen to Amanda's message. You have each offered me marriage and shown me the wonders of your civilizations. You have demonstrated your power over humanity. But I have a challenge for you instead. You claim that humans need you to survive and prosper. I believe that you need humans more than you realize. Amanda paused and looked at Jake, who gave her an encouraging nod. I challenge each of your civilizations to solve a problem that has troubled you for thousands of years. But there is one condition. You may only use human methods and human technology. You may not use your advanced sciences or your superior abilities. If you can solve your ancient problems using only what humans have to offer, then I will consider your proposals. If you cannot, then you must leave our solar system and never return. The response from the alien fleets was immediate. Angry messages came from all 4 ships. The aliens were insulted by the suggestion that primitive humans could help them with problems their advanced civilizations could not solve. But Amanda was not finished. To prove that this is a fair challenge, I offer you a guide. Jake Murphy, a human engineer, will work with each of your teams. He knows nothing about your technologies or your problems. He is not a scientist or a warrior or a philosopher. He fixes broken machines for a living. If human methods can help you, Jake will show you how. Jake stepped forward and spoke into the microphone. Hi everyone, I'm just a regular guy who's good with tools. If you want to learn how humans solve problems, I'm happy to teach you. But I work with my hands, not with fancy speeches or complicated theories. The alien representatives were furious. How dare these primitive humans suggest that they needed help? How could a simple mechanic in dirty clothes offer solutions that their greatest minds could not find? But curiosity won over pride. Each alien civilization had indeed struggled with ancient problems for millennia. If there was even a small chance that human methods might help, they had to try. Christarch Veltar was the first to accept the challenge. The Zephyrian problem was that their hive mind society had lost the ability to make individual decisions. Every choice had to be approved by the Crystal Network. This made them efficient but also predictable and slow to adapt. Jake went to the Zephyrian ship with a simple toolkit and an equally simple solution. "You folks think too much before you act," he told them. "Sometimes you just have to make a choice and see what happens. Here, let me show you." Jake taught the Zephyrians a human game called rock, paper, scissors. It seemed silly to them at first, but Jake explained that the game was about making quick decisions without thinking too much. He showed them how humans could make individual choices while still working together as a team. The Zephyrians were amazed when some of them began making decisions without consulting the Crystal Network. For the first time in thousands of years, individual Zephyrians were thinking for themselves. Their society became more flexible and creative almost immediately. War Captain Thexmore accepted the challenge next. The Corvin problem was that their honor-based society had been trapped in civil wars for centuries. Different clans fought each other over ancient insults. Their warrior culture prevented them from backing down or finding peaceful solutions. Jake's approach was different with the Corvins. "You guys are really strong," he told them. "But strength isn't just about fighting. The strongest thing a warrior can do is protect people who can't protect themselves." Jake taught the Corvins about human emergency services. He showed them how firefighters and paramedics used their strength and courage to save lives instead of taking them. He explained how the greatest human heroes were often people who risked everything to help others. The Corvins were fascinated by the idea of earning honor through protection instead of conquest. They began to see that their civil wars were making them weaker, not stronger. Several clan leaders started talking about peace for the first time in generations. Prime Consciousness Zareth was skeptical, but agreed to try the human approach. The ethereal problem was that they had become so focused on pure thought and energy that they were losing touch with reality. They could no longer understand or connect with physical beings. Jake's solution surprised everyone. "You folks spend too much time in your heads," he told the ethereals. "Sometimes you need to use your hands to really understand something." Jake taught the ethereals about human craftsmanship. He showed them how humans learned by building things, by working with physical materials, by making mistakes and trying again. He demonstrated how the process of creating something with your hands could teach you things that pure thought could not. The ethereals were amazed when they tried to build simple human tools. The physical work helped them understand concepts they had been struggling with for eons. They began to see that physical existence was not a limitation, but a different way of experiencing reality. Trade Prince Zolvan was the most resistant to the challenge. The Nexari problem was that their focus on profit and trade had created massive inequality in their society. The rich got richer, while the poor stayed poor. Their economy was efficient, but cruel. Jake's approach with the Nexari was the most direct. "You folks have got plenty of money," he said, "but you don't understand what real value is. Money is just a tool. The real treasure is making sure everyone has what they need." Jake taught the Nexari about human cooperation and mutual aid. He showed them how human communities shared resources during emergencies. He explained how humans often worked together without expecting immediate payment, simply because it was the right thing to do. The Nexari were shocked to discover that human communities were often happier and more stable than Nexari trading posts, even though humans had less material wealth. They began to understand that true prosperity came from lifting everyone up, not from accumulating individual wealth. As Jake worked with each alien civilization, something amazing happened. The four fleets began talking to each other for the first time. They had all been trying to solve similar problems in their own ways. The Zephyrians shared their new understanding of individual choice with the Corvins. The ethereals helped the Nexari see beyond material wealth. The Corvins taught the Zephyrians about honor and protection. Amanda watched from Mars as the four alien fleets began to cooperate instead of compete. Jake's simple human approach had done something that thousands of years of alien advancement could not accomplish. He had shown them that the solutions to their problems were not found in more advanced technology, but in basic understanding of how different kinds of beings could work together. The test was becoming something more than anyone had expected. The aliens were not just learning human methods, they were learning to be human. 3 months had passed since Jake began working with the alien fleets. Amanda watched through the Mars station's telescopes as something unprecedented happened in their solar system. The 4 alien fleets were working together, sharing knowledge and resources that they had guarded jealously for millennia. The changes in each civilization were remarkable. The Zephyrians had reformed their government to allow individual decision-making while maintaining their crystal network for communication. Their society became more creative and adaptable. Art and music flourished for the first time in their history. The Corvins had ended their civil wars and redirected their warrior culture toward protection and rescue operations. Their combat skills were now used to help other species defend themselves against natural disasters and hostile forces. They had become the galaxy's greatest peacekeepers. The ethereals had learned to appreciate physical existence without abandoning their energy forms. They began exploring the universe in new ways, experiencing reality through multiple dimensions simultaneously. Their understanding of consciousness expanded beyond anything they had achieved before. The Naxari had restructured their entire economy around cooperation instead of exploitation. They used their trading networks to distribute resources fairly across the galaxy. Poverty began disappearing from worlds that had been struggling for centuries, but the most amazing change was how the 4 civilizations began to work together. They formed a council where decisions were made through discussion and compromise rather than force or manipulation. Each species contributed their unique strengths while learning from the others. Jake had become something of a legend among the aliens. They called him the Engineer of Harmony, though he laughed at the title. He continued to wear his dirty dungarees and carry his simple toolkit. To him, he was just fixing problems the same way he always had. One morning, all 4 alien representatives returned to the Mars station together. This was the first time they had been in the same room without arguing or competing. Amanda met them in the main conference room, with Jake standing beside her. Christarch Veltar spoke first. "Amanda Cross, you have shown us something we did not know existed. Your challenge has changed our civilizations more than 1,000,000 years of advancement. We withdraw our marriage proposals." War Captain Thexmore nodded in agreement. "We came, here seeking to possess you, as if you were a weapon or tool to be owned. We now understand that what we truly needed was to learn from humanity as a whole. You cannot be owned because your value comes from your freedom." Prime consciousness, Zareth's energy form pulsed with what Amanda had learned to recognize as respect. "We believed that consciousness was limited by physical existence. You have shown us that consciousness is enhanced by connection to others, regardless of their form. This wisdom cannot be captured or contained." Trade Prince Zolvan was the most humble. "We thought we could buy your cooperation with promises of wealth. We now understand that the greatest treasures cannot be purchased. Trust, friendship, and love must be earned through actions, not purchased with gold." Amanda felt relief wash over her. The marriage proposals had been withdrawn, but that was not the end of the story. "We have a different proposal now," Veltar continued. "We wish to establish the Sol Accord, making Earth the center of a new galactic alliance. Not because humans are superior to other species, but because you have shown us how different civilizations can work together. We offer to share our technologies and knowledge freely," Thexmore added. "In return, we ask that humans help us continue learning cooperation and understanding. This alliance will be based on equality," Zareth said. "No species will dominate others. All voices will be heard. Together we can create prosperity for every world," Zolvan concluded. "Not through conquest or exploitation, but through mutual aid and shared wisdom." Amanda looked at the 4 representatives and felt proud of what humanity had accomplished. But she also felt something else. She looked at Jake, who was quietly cleaning his tools while the aliens spoke. "I'm honored by your offer," Amanda said, "but I won't be your ambassador or leader. I've learned something important over these past months. The most valuable things in life aren't positions of power or cosmic responsibility. They're the simple connections we make with people who see us for who we really are." She turned to Jake. "I choose the guy in dirty dungarees. Jake looked up from his tools with surprise. Amanda, are you sure? These folks are offering you the chance to shape the future of the galaxy. I'm sure, Amanda said. You taught me that the best solutions are often the simplest ones. You see me as Amanda, not as a symbol or a tool or a bridge between species. That's worth more than all the power in the universe. Jake set down his tools and walked over to Amanda. From his pocket, he pulled out a small ring that he had made from salvaged station materials. It was not beautiful or valuable, but it was made with care and love. Amanda Cross, Jake said. I can't offer you immortality or cosmic power or unlimited wealth. I can only promise that I'll always see you as yourself, not as what you can do for others. Will you marry me? Amanda said yes without hesitation. The wedding took place 6 weeks later aboard the Mars station. Representatives from all 4 alien civilizations attended the ceremony. Captain Rodriguez performed the service. The observation deck was decorated with flowers that had been grown in the station's hydroponics lab. Amanda wore a simple white dress that she had ordered from Earth. Jake wore clean dungarees and a button-down shirt that Amanda had given him as an engagement present. The ceremony was modest and human, exactly what they both wanted. During the reception, Christarch Veltar presented the couple with a wedding gift from all 4 civilizations. A small ship designed for exploration and diplomacy. It was built using the best technology from each species, but designed according to human principles of simplicity and reliability. This ship will allow you to travel the galaxy if you choose, Veltar explained. But it will also bring you home, whenever you want. Because we have learned that home is not a place, but the people who love you for who you are. Jake accepted the gift gracefully, though he later admitted to Amanda that he was more excited about the ship's engine room than its diplomatic capabilities. The Sol Accord was signed the day after the wedding. Earth became the diplomatic center of a new galactic alliance based on cooperation rather than domination. Humans began traveling to other worlds, not as conquerors or servants, but as partners and friends. Amanda continued her work as a linguist, helping different species learn to communicate with each other. But she also made time for the simple pleasures of being human, gardening with Jake in their greenhouse, watching Earth rise over the Martian horizon, and fixing broken things together. Jake's dirty dungarees became a symbol throughout the galaxy. Not a symbol of human superiority, but a reminder that the most important work often happens quietly, in small acts of care and service. Beings across the galaxy began to understand that true strength came not from advanced technology or cosmic power, but from the willingness to help others and to see the value in simple, honest work. Years later, when historians wrote about the events that changed the galaxy, they called it the Sol Accord or the Great Alliance. But Amanda and Jake always remembered it as the time when the universe learned that the best solutions come from the heart, not from the stars. And somewhere in their modest home on Mars, Jake's work clothes hang in the closet, still stained with oil and dirt, still ready for the next problem that needs fixing.